Let's start looking into the basics of Java. See, in any programming language, there are some very ideal and trivial things. Okay, trivial things we will not really bother too much here, but the ones which you should ideally look into are how you form statements. So, because any programming language, it is constructed of statements, data types, methods, and control flow statements. So I could have put this control flow statement under the statement only, but nevertheless, I had a lot to discuss, so I've just introduced this as a new node. So like I said, any programming language, you'll have to get hold of how do you compose a statement, what are the various data types in it, how you write a simple method and call them, and what are the different types of control flow statements. We'll come to one by one, we'll see what it is. So this would constitute a very basic learning tree, if you ask me, for any language. Let's see what you mean by a statement. Okay. So this actually, now, yeah, if you see the legend here, whenever I have a demo, I put the star here. So it indicates that there is a demo. And I give a hyperlink like this. If you click on it, it will go to REPL site where you have the code ready. You can just click on execute. Of course, eBox also has wonderful tools for you to learn, experiment, and explore Java. My colleague from eBox team will also be guiding you toward it for the rest of the day, where there are some nice challenges and quizzes and things like that to explore. You could use that. Now, I use REPL tool like basically to share my code with you. I don't want to really start using GitHub or zip files for now. This is sharing this code on REPL will be quite easy. But before that, so when I say statement, okay, what exactly is a statement in Java made up of? A statement is actually made up of expressions. That's all in the world of programming, you see. Expressions combined with other expressions or just a single expression will constitute one statement. So in several statements, you might have several expressions, or you can club several expressions into one statement only. But the bottom line, what is an expression? So expression is combination of literals, variables, operators, and possibly method calls. So expression is a valid combination of one or more of these. When I say valid, it means in proper syntax and in proper order. So what are all the things which goes up in literal, variable, operators, and method calls? So I might have added a small note. Okay. So you can, I would, when I give this, like I said, when I give these files to you, you might want to expand these trees and put some more notes, but I would say don't make it too PPT like, because most often we've seen whether you're preparing for, you're revising for a project or you're revising for interview, you will not have all the time in the world to go through text and text of data. Okay, it should be compact. It should only try to brush up the core information which you need and the hierarchy in which they come up. Okay. So if I want to really show what literal is, let me open JShell. Come here. And this is one issue. If you just resize the windows, JShell might not take it well. So you might want to just press enter and everything will be fine. So literal. What is a literal? Okay, I'll say 555.55. This is also literal. So this literal is of type double. Okay. Whereas if I just said something like 5, just enter, this is a valid literal. It is an integer literal. Similarly, what kind of literal is this? $3. What kind of literal is this?
String.
Perfect. What kind of literal is this?
Character.
Perfect.
Float.
How did you know?
Sir, it's given in float, sir. Decimal to decimal.
Okay. So is the $5 variable? So this $5 is just a variable. Okay. Don't. It's not a big thing. It is some default variable. It doesn't want to give name like XYZ. So it goes on giving variables $2, $3, $4, $5. So now coming back to my question, is $5 and $6 the same?
No, sir.
Why is it not same?
$6 can be either float or double, like it's not specified.
Perfect. Yes. If it is not specified, it is double. How do I know? We'll come to that. Okay. I really don't want to go into the depths of it because I'm dealing with that in the variable part of it. Now, you know how now you just got an idea of literals. Now this is operand. I use the plus operand. I use the minus operand. Division operand. 9 divided by 0. It did not simply say error unlike a calculator or something. It gave me something much more object oriented and purely Java terminologies. It's an exception which comes from java.lang.arithmetic exception. So you see, I'm just trying to give you all a taste of what JShell can be used and how it is. And at the same time, I'm simply introducing you all to literals and variables and operators and types. So we already seen so many operators. So one such operator, if you see, whatever we've been discussed so far is arithmetic operators. So if I give something like, for example, 4 greater than 5. So I used integer literal. I used comparison operator. I used one more integer literal. And the result of this expression was false, which is of Boolean type. So many things. In one simple line, we've used so many things. So ultimately, what is the point I'm trying to make? The point I'm trying to make here is what you call as one statement in Java is basically a single, it could be a literal or a variable assigned to a literal, a variable with operators, literal with operators, any valid combination forms one expression. Multiple expressions together can also be possible. Either ways, when you have a semicolon, that makes a statement, and you can have several statements followed by several semicolons, which forms a source code with .java extension. We'll see all those things, but I'm just going with the very basic things first. Similarly, you have a lot of other operators, mathematical, logical, ANDing. Now, for example, let's say 4 into 4 equals, or rather, let me say something like 4 into 5 equals 10 into 2. I use the comparison equal, and then I used multiplication. So I have a lot of operators. So that is why if you see in the operator section, you have logical operators, you have arithmetical operators. We haven't seen variable. We'll just see that in a while. And you can have method call, that also we'll see in a while. So how would variables look like? Simple, we already saw, and let's say x is equal to 25. So this time, instead of just saying $1 or $2, it clearly says, okay, you have only given me x and it is 25. So now I'll just say x plus 2. Sorry, I just went ahead and reassigned to it. That's okay. Now x is equal to 2. If I just say x, it evaluates to 2. See, even a simple variable is a valid expression. And if I give something like x plus 2, it should print 4. But of course, I didn't store it anywhere. So I just went ahead and again put it in some temporary variable. Or I will rather say, I declare one more variable. Okay, if I don't declare it, y is equal to x plus 2. So this is an expected error. What is the expected error here? It says, hey, I don't know what you mean by y. So I just say, I can do this in two ways. I can just say int y is equal to, or y is equal to 0. And then say, or rerun this command using up arrows, y is equal to x plus 2. So this time y is a variable. So what are variables? Anybody? What do you mean by variable in general?
It's an user defined, sir.
A little louder, please.
User defined values.
User defined value. Okay. Any other answers?
It is a name which is given to and memory allocation to store or hold the value.
Yeah, correct. It's a name given to a memory location. Yes. See, I could have actually gone to that level and introduced all about memory location and things, but hey, let's get real here. We will not have all the time in the world to start reading Java or learning to know about Java in so much depth. One. Number two, we are here to build enterprise applications. And at that level, you will not need that. But yes, it will definitely pay off. There's no harm in getting to know them. Sometimes it is really weird that some people expect you to know things, to a large extent, into a great depth. But then somewhere you will have to make a balance between the width and depth of learning something. If you start learning something in too much of deep, you'll never get anywhere. So that might have happened, when you, let's say tomorrow you just want to learn machine learning or artificial intelligence, and you grab yourself a couple of books and then start learning it. And these two books are fat, mind you, some 1,200, 500, 2,000 pages. So the problem with that approach is you start reading something and just go on and on and on into various depths. And after a few weeks, you just get tired. And okay, at least in that few weeks, was there any concrete outcome? Will you be able to work in projects? The answer will be a big no. The problem with that sequential learning is the depth becomes invariably deep. So, of course, sometimes if it is only width, the other way, if it's only width, you don't lack the details of it. So now I will leave it to you all. Basically, you should strike a balance between width and depth when you start learning a new technology. So it should be predominantly width, and where and when required, it should be depth. And what next is the best way is to get into a project and start learning it. Doing a project is not like, I'll do it only when I know at least 60-70% of everything, because there's really no way how you can define what is 60 or 70% of something. These are all very highly difficult to quantify. So the best way is to start taking problems. Even a problem is basically a small version of a project. That's all. Problem and project are one and the same. It's just the size that matters. So a good way is to start solving problems. I'm sure the eBox platform is wonderful for you to start, challenging yourself with several problems. And don't be intimidated to try out things. Initially, the going will be tough, but then it'll all level out somewhere. So coming back to, now since we have talked about types, I would just want to quickly, so I have left a small note on variables here, some of the important note, and I've also given you some definitions on what do you mean by a camel case, Pascal case, and snake case. I would want you all to look at it. So these are some of the naming conventions which I'm surprised sometimes when I review the code written by even 3-4 years or 5 years experienced developers. They seem to be not understanding this properly. So I've just left a note later on. You can read it.